Hey there, it's your asset protector, and I have something real that I want to talk to you about. I'm specifically speaking to my smokers. And what I mean, those of you who vape, you smoke cigarettes, you use tobacco and whatever, you dip snuff, chew tobacco, whatever the case might be. If you are a tobacco user, and that's you, I want you to stop what you're doing and pay attention. And I'm talking to you about the impact of smoking or using tobacco and the cost, the high cost of insurance, life insurance, that is. So I had my colleague to run a few illustrations for me for a client, potential insurer trying to get life insurance. Now, we have here a 73-year-old male. He uses tobacco and he is in good health. And I mean by good health is that he does not have to take any medications. He does not have any diagnosis, which is very good because he's 73 years old and he's not on any medication. He doesn't have any medical diagnosis. He works every day and he's in good condition physically. But the problem is we attempted to run $100,000 face amount or death benefit. What I mean by face amount or death benefit is that if this insurance goes through for him, he decides to get it and he's approved, then when he passes away, then the death benefit is the amount that his family, his beneficiaries, whether it be his wife or one of his children or multiple children, because he has several children, or whomever he decides to give this money to, if it's a charity, a church organization, or whatever, it's going to cost a lot of money to get it. So when you smoke or use tobacco, your insurance more than doubles, basically. Now, let me share with you some figures that I had to run. I won't use his name and I won't use the companies because I don't have permission to use either. But here's one term. We're talking about pretty much term, right? The cheapest insurance that you can get. Term life insurance for a level term, 10 years, $395.68 a month. That is as a preferred and as a smoker preferred. So preferred tobacco, $395.68 per month. That's what it's going to cost. Now, versus if he didn't smoke, $152.92 per month. 395.68 versus 152.92 per month. You see what I'm saying? So the amount is more than double because he uses tobacco. That's on a 10-year level term. On a 15-year level term, tobacco user, $483.82 for 15 years. $483.82 per month. Now, if he didn't smoke, $249.05. You do the math. So chances are he probably won't even qualify for anything here, but we also did another one, and this is to age 100. And this is for what we call a guaranteed universal life, a GUL, which is basically, it pays a little bit of money. You can make a little bit of money off of it, but it provides life insurance and benefits, a death benefit to his beneficiaries as long as he's going to pay on his policy. As long as he's paying into it for the rest of his life up to the age 100, it'll pay out. So we're talking about up to age 100, $643.08 per month. $643.08 per month. Now that is preferred tobacco. Preferred non-tobacco means preferred if he doesn't smoke, $359.39. 643 versus 359. Which would you rather pay? So it is imperative, pertinent, and important that you stop smoking if you are a tobacco user. Not only because of what it's going to cost you for your life insurance, but think about what it's doing to your health. You'd be better off smoking marijuana. Smoke it through a bong if you got to smoke it. Use non-tobacco leaf wrappers, hemp wrappers, or whatever the case might be. It's better for you to smoke herb than it is for you to use tobacco. Even if you dip it in your tongue, or this Copenhagen and all this stuff, or whether you going to the cigar bar and having a cigar from time to time, you better to do that, even having a cigar at the cigar bar once or twice a week, than to be smoking cigarettes every day, because that's your limit you have. Now, I looked at some other quotes. That's on $100,000. So I took the liberty, and because I really couldn't find him anything, so I reached out to my team and said, hey, let's see what we can do to help this guy. I know that his life insurance situation was on life support once he told me he smoked cigarettes. If that shows up in your MIB, your Medical Information Bureau, which every time you go to the doctor, that whether you went for a headache or you went for a broken limb or a sprained limb, or you went because you were having heart palpitations or blurred vision, it doesn't matter. You went for a mammogram or you went in for an annual yearly physical, it doesn't matter. All of that stuff is going to show up what you went in for, when you went in, what was said, what was the finality, what was the final outcome of that visit. If your blood pressure was elevated, but it was elevated because your back was hurting versus it's being elevated because you have hypertension, all of these things matter. And it's going to impact the decision on whether or not you, A, get insurance, or B, can afford it. Affordability, and especially in today's economy, is something that's real. So prior to me running $100,000, I ran $50,000 because I already know the deal. I'm a veteran. I've been doing this a long time. So the same individual will get $50,000 for only 10 years. Only 10 years at $236.83 per month. That's $2,842 per year. Or we could put him at only $25,000 death benefit at $118.42 per month, which is $1,421 per year. And when you do the math and you multiply that times 10, you have to ask, does it make sense? Could I take my money and put it someplace else, or could I put my money into an annuity? If you have you have $10,000 or more accumulated in your bank account, put the money into an annuity, because life insurance is not going to be for everybody. And if anybody's telling you that life insurance is for everyone, they're telling you something that may be a false narrative. So oftentimes life insurance providers, life insurance agents are just trying to make money. And they're making money off of you, and they're making a killing off of you hand over fist. And in the end, it's not really benefiting you. You got to make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. The math ain't math, then don't do it. Life insurance is not for everyone. The best time to get your life insurance was yesterday, and the next best time to get life insurance is today. The longer you wait, it's called the high cost of waiting. The longer you wait to go ahead and purchase your life insurance, the more expensive. Most life insurance companies, at least 90% of the life insurance companies, they're looking at 6 months down the road. So let's say your birthday is in October now, November, December, January, February, March, April. Say your birthday is April the 9th. Today is October the 10th as I speak. Then in 6 months, you're within 6 months of your next birthday. So if you're within 6 months of your next birthday, then a lot of insurance companies will look at you as that next age. So let's say you're 51 today, but in 6 months, you're going to be 52. When it gets down to it's that 6 month or 1 day under, so 5 months and 29 days. So within 6 months, you're going to be 52 years old. And so when we run the assessments, we're running you at 52 years old. And the only way to get it a little bit cheaper at 51 is that we have to backdate it, what we call save age. And save age means that you're already 51, but you're sick, but the system is showing you as 52. And so we're going to backdate it. And everything comes with a cost. So if we backdate it, then guess what? You're going to have to pay a little extra money to be able to get that benefit. You know what I mean? For that 6 months period, you're going to have to pay the difference so that you can go for the next 10 years at being paid 51 as opposed to starting at 52 years old. Okay? So again, if you are a person that uses tobacco, then I highly urge you quit. I want to share one more assessment with you on another similar client. But this client, which is why I tell you the best time to get your life insurance was yesterday, because this is on a client that's 53 years old. 53-year-old male who does not use tobacco, And as you can see, we all try to get the best benefit we can get. And so we run a lot of quotes, until we can come up with the best quote for you. And so when you are in these situations, you certainly make a lot of work for us. And then you create a financial situation, a hole for yourself. So we do this, and we have software and technology and teams that make this easy for us. But you are going to have to cough up that money every month to be able to leave a nice benefit to your family when you pass away. Not if you pass away, but when. Now, on this particular client, I'm looking at an illustration that I ran with a company that I use all the time. It's $300,000 for 30 years at $168 a month. That translates to $1,961.50 per annual. That makes more sense. So now you see why I say it's best to get insurance as soon as you can. Don't look at life insurance as something of a bill. Oh, I got another bill. I got to pay this. Well, let me tell you, you're going to have to die, and dying is expensive. And you got to think about the people that you leave behind, especially if you have children. Now, this same client, I ran him at $650,000 at $379 a month. Now, he could have got that same $650,000 if he was 40 years old. He could have got $1 million worth of insurance for about $200 per month or less for 30 years being in good health. I know because I have clients that already fit this bill and already are doing this. The longer you wait is called the high cost of waiting. And the longer you procrastinate on this, then the more expensive it's going to be, right? You can get life insurance on your child. You can get children's whole life and life insurance for the rest of their life. I have one client right here, and I'm just using these illustrations for the process, demonstration process purposes. This one here is a 2-year-old, and we did it for $19.04, which is only $29 a month, $29 a year. $19.04 per month, $229 per year, $50,000. And we like to look at kids, and this is all the way up to age 18, that you can get up to $50,000 without a physical, even if something is wrong with the child. The child is 6 years old, the child is obese, has diabetes, who cares? But if the child gets to be 18 years old and has diabetes, now we're dealing with a whole different ballgame because the child does not qualify. The child can have cancer. The child can have whatever illness the child has. The thing is, it's a sad thing when this happens, but it does happen, and we have to be upfront and sensible about it. The children are oftentimes born with deficiencies. And so that being said, I just want you to think about yourself, when you're applying for insurance, and think about your family. If you have a wife or spouse, because I'm talking to both men and women, whether your spouse is a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Think about it. You're in that house. You worked so hard to get, and you saved all of your money. You did all the right things. You got your credit score up, right? And now you're in the house, and one or the other one of you passed away, Then now that house, let's say the house costs $1 million, and you owe another $200,000 on the house, and you're the breadwinner, and you leave that spouse and those children in the home. You pay $800,000 on that $1 million property. But guess what? Now the other spouse does not make enough money to pay the mortgage. And you know what the mortgage company is going to do then? They're going to foreclose. They're going to take that house from you because they said you can't pay it. And on the one hand, you're going to be glad they did take that house because it's a sigh of relief. Now I don't have that debt. But think about the other $800,000 that your family has lost that you put in that estate. Now you have to pick up and move and go live with a family member across town or even in a different state. And now your children have to go to a different school. And you know how children are about learning new friends, right? Children hate goodbyes. But now you have to take your children and enroll them in a new school. And you may even have to go to a different city, a different state, which means now you have to find different employment. And now you may have to take a lesser employment, paying you less than what you were making on your original job. So it can be upsetting. It can really turn your life upside down. Life insurance, and I like to say it, especially term insurance, is really a get over. It's just like car insurance. You drive your car for 30 years, you don't have an accident, yet you're paying $200 a month, or some of you paying more, especially if you have children, or you have infractions on your record, right? And you're paying, and in the end, it's like, do they give you this money back? No. So let's say you get a 30-year term and you live another 50 years after you get the term. What happens to your money then? It's just gone. It's gone. It's like putting your money in a pinball machine and you play the game, and when it goes game over, you lose your 50 cents. When I was a kid, it was a quarter, but pretty much now 50 cents. Some places are 50 cents. You get the point. If you keep waiting and you keep procrastinating and putting it off, it gets to be very expensive. The best way to get the best rate is to do it sooner than later. Not only as you age, it's going to cost more just with your age going up, because they're looking at the mortality rate, right? People who are 50 years old, who has high blood pressure, who has diabetes, and also come from a family of cancer, right? Both parents or one of the parents died from cancer. They have a higher propensity. The likelihood of them dying sooner is greater than if they come from a family who does not have these diagnoses in men, right, around 50, or women around 30. You know, women in your family get breast cancer. Your mom died with breast cancer when she was 50. Your grandmama died at 60. Your oldest sister died with breast cancer at 49. And you have a lump, on your breast. And they're looking at if this becomes, let me see if I can get it right, if it metastasized or it spreads, then at what rate did it spread? So they go back and look at all of that stuff. That's why they use the MIB, the Medical Information Bureau, because it gives them an idea of how long people live before they pass away with this type of illnesses in a particular area code or zip code. So you have blue zones, you have red zones, and these blue zones is where people tend to live. Centenarians, they live over 100 years old, right? If you live in an area, you live on the south side of Chicago, and you live in an impoverished area or zip code, then it's less likely that you're going to live to be 100 years old. One, you have to look at the type of food they're selling and serving, the food that they're selling in the supermarket, the type of restaurants, right? If you live in a less financial sound environment, let's say you live in the hood, is what I'm trying to say, then you're going to have a lot of Church's Chicken and Popeyes and stuff like that, as opposed to if you live in a well-to-do area environment or area code, you're going to find better food. You're going to find paved roads. It's going to be cleaner. And all of those things impact your lifespan. Even the water that you drink. And the water's going to, I lived in Atlanta for 20 years. The water's going to Buckhead and the water's going to Bankhead is not the same water. You're not going to find a Whole Foods in Bankhead because the people can't afford to buy that type of food. And the quality of food that you're going to find at Trader Joe's or Sprouts or Whole Foods, which is where I eat a lot of. My wife and I, she loves to shop at those places, right? Or Erewhon. Don't even talk about Erewhons, because the prices are elevated much higher, right? You go into Whole Foods and you get a bunch of carrots and it might be $3.79. If you go in Walmart or Kroger and you get a bunch of carrots and they be maybe 99 cents. You see where I'm going? So the quality, the pesticides and stuff that they're putting in your food. So we eat organic as much as we can. Now, when we eat out, we know we're not eating organic because they're looking to turn a profit and they're going to give you food that is not the best. But we eat at high-end restaurants more so. Now, we do Popeyes maybe once a year. We do McDonald's 3 or 4 times a year. But we don't eat at McDonald's every day. We don't eat at Popeyes every day. We're not in Chili's, those places like that. Those places have a lower end food quality that you're eating, okay? So think about that. Where you're living, what you're eating, the type of foods you're eating. Are you exercising? Are you obese? Do you have diagnoses running through your family? You know, you're 50 years old now and you feel like you're 80 years old. What do you think will happen between 50 and 80? It's not going to get any better. I often tell you in my videos, if you exercise for 1 hour, for every 1 hour you exercise, you get 3 hours added to your lifespan. So what do? I exercise every day. Right? My wife tells me I'm a unicorn because most people that are my age, they don't look like I do. They don't feel like I do. They don't act like I do. They don't have the body structure that I do. So I work out and I make being active an important priority in my life. And so I know we went on and on about this, but the importance of not smoking, I cannot impress upon you enough. Please stop smoking cigarettes. If you just got to smoke something, you're better off to smoke herb. Smoking marijuana, and I don't mean street stuff that's out there. I mean, go to a reputable location. I know your homeboy giving you the hookup, but he don't know anything about the origin of where that marijuana come from. And because this is legal, we can have this conversation, right? And I live in California, okay? So do you with good health. Make sure that you're doing the right thing. Make sure if you're going to smoke marijuana, make sure you're in a city or a state where it is legal to do it. And if you want to have fun, but smoke responsibly. And even smoking marijuana is not healthy for you either. But at least the insurance companies, they're not going to bear down on you as much as they would if you're smoking cigarettes, okay? Cigarettes is just bad, 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 bad. I know some of you are saying, well, my grandfather died with lung cancer. He didn't smoke. I get it. But think about it this way. If you close your eyes and walk in the middle of an interstate, in the middle of rush hour, you walk in the freeway, the interstate, or rush hour, and you blindfold yourself and you walk across that traffic, and let's just say you're in California. If you live in California and you walking on the 405, the 5, the 110, the 210, I don't care where you are, get out to the 170, it doesn't matter. Get out there and close your eyes and walk across one of these streets and see what is the probability of you making it across that street. I can tell you it's 100% death. And the reason why is because 24 hours in California, the traffic is always busy. I don't care if it's 3 a.m. or if it's 3 p.m. I don't care if it's 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. There's always, you never can gauge, regardless, even if you live in a rural area. Sometimes you may be driving and you don't meet nobody. And then sometimes you're driving and you might meet 5 cars. What I'm saying to you is that when you make these type of decisions like smoking cigarettes, you're putting yourself at greater risk of injury, death, and then, of course, the high cost of living and being a blessing to your family by leaving a legacy when you pass away. All right? That's my time. If you're interested in learning how to build a legacy for your family, if you're learning how to put life insurance in place, you want a quote, you can go right to my website, at UnitedProspero.com. There's UnitedProspero.com. There's a form, you can fill that out. And I have different things on there on that form, your age, right, your date of birth, right, whether or not you smoke, do you have any prescription medications you're taking, all that. And then I'll get back with you. I'll reach out to you and help you create a plan tailored for you, specific for your family, what you can afford, what your needs are, right? Because this is not cookie cutter. Reach out to UnitedProspero.com, and we're going to take a look at it and look at it from every perspective, every angle to give you the best deal. Because as an agent, then therefore I work in the best interest of you and not the insurance company. I am what you call a free agent. I'm not captive, so I don't have to deal with this company versus that company. Okay? All right. That being said, an interruption here. So because I work with different insurance companies, because I had the interruption, I'm just going to repeat that. Because I work with multiple insurance companies, I find the best deal that I can find for you because I'm working in the best interest of you and not the insurance company. That's my spiel for now. Reach out to me at UnitedProspero.com and let us show you how to put a solution in place to protect your family. Let's build prosperity on purpose together.